Hey, I'm Dave, and you're listening to another episode of Dying to Listen, Special Edition Business. So, we are here with Kristy from Dr. Kristy's Disc Dyes to talk about the business side of disc dyeing. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much for actually saying, hey, I'd like to be on here. That is awesome.
You have people who say no?
Actually, not really. So,
okay, yeah, that's good.
You got me there.
No, but I'm stoked to be asked about the business part of it because really, it's everything that I do all day is think about the business part of this. So it's great for me to be able to talk with you about it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn something as well because each dyer in their business have their own unique perspective, and I would like to hear yours. But the first question that I have is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in disc dyeing in general?
Yeah. So about myself, I am Kristy Corsack, and I am 48. I can't believe I told people that. And I'm from Emporia, Kansas originally, but I moved away, as people do, and lived in Wichita, in Colorado, places like that. Went through a divorce from about 3 years ago, and my parents are getting older, so I moved home to Emporia, Kansas. And now in Emporia, it's like the disc golf craziness, as a lot of people know. So one of my good friends, Jamie Rusko, is the sales director at Trilogy Dynamic Discs. It wasn't House of Discs back then. And so he said, I was kind of bored, not working yet. There wasn't any jobs in my field open. So I went to work for Dynamic Discs and the warehouse. And I was a sales executive up there and had a blast. But I started seeing these cool dyes. And I'm like, whoa, I kind of want to try that. So I started trying it. I was still living with my dad at that point. I hadn't even bought a house in town yet, and just started dyeing, watched some YouTube videos, went and bought some supplies. First dyes were epic fails. But it was fun. And what I found, it was therapeutic for me because, going through that divorce was pretty harsh. So it was a really good outlet hobby for me to, just manage stuff or to start making stuff. And the poor people at Dynamic Discs, me coming in being like, look at this, look at this, look at this, and it's not, they were all like, good job, Kristy. But there it went. But, and in reality, I wasn't very good at it looking back, but I kept doing it and I kept liking it and I kept trying different styles, and then boom, I'm dyeing discs a lot. So
what year did you first started dabbling in disc dyeing?
Okay, so I started working there in 2021. I started in September of 2021 is when I started dyeing discs. Because in September it'll be 3 years that I've been dyeing discs. So I hadn't even played disc golf before I started working for Dynamic Discs. I play all the time now.
That's awesome.
I'm still terrible.
I thought you were doing this a lot longer than that. I guess not.
No.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to turn your disc dyeing into a business?
So as I started getting a little better over time, the next few months of working on them, I like to make things better. I like to perfect things. So I continued to do that and try different styles. And my friends, this is how it always starts. I feel friends were like, "Hey, will you dye this for me? Wait, I got this sick disc. I need you to dye it. Can you?" And then I did that, and then their friends wanted them, and then I'm like, "Wait a minute, they're offering to pay me," and I'm like, "Nah, it's no big deal." And then I was like, "Okay, this could be a side hustle. Why not? I might just get a website and try something." So that's how it started. The idea that I could make some money doing this, maybe potentially.
Do you remember the first actual sale that you did?
I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, there's a kid named Alexis Shapiro, and he had me dye this Erica Stitchcomb sword, and I remember that was actually a decent one, and I remember thinking I need him to pay for this one, but I didn't. I'm way too nice a lot of times, but so I don't remember the first paid one, but that's when I started the website and started progressing into a true business model.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did that from the get-go, right when I started saying, okay, I want to start selling these. I went straight for getting the business like set up properly, like with the tax ID and resale license, everything. Because I wanted to do it right, and so that's how it went.
Do you have any business background prior to this?
So in my degree, I had to take an 800 or 900 level business class, and I know I am not a business person, believe it or not. And I did not pay attention in that class. I absolutely admit that right now. Sorry. So I wish I would have. No, I do not. I don't have business background. I just have some general basic knowledge and common sense and a good feel for things, I guess. I don't know, so.
Well,
no,
hopefully,
I'm not very good at it.
Hopefully that inspires other people, because you don't necessarily need to know everything, I guess.
No, you learn as you go.
Yeah.
You really do. You can. Yeah.
So you kind of explained it, but what were the first steps you took to set up your disc dyeing business?
So first I went and I wanted to be on, websites are not that expensive if you find the right one. I mean, if you try to get something super clever, it's probably already taken, or they want a ton of money for it. So I got a website and started with that. Then I did the tax ID, which there is, I believe, and I don't want to give misinformation here, but I know that you can do your tax ID as your social security number, I believe, if you want to sell discs. However, I didn't go that route, so I'm not informed on how that approach goes. I did go to like the government's website and applied for a business EIN or tax ID number. So I don't believe it costs anything to do, and then you have that, and by having that allows you to then get into these disc golf companies at a wholesale level. And that is also, if you plan to do a business in this business, you really would have to have that. You would have to do it that way to make us any money, really.
Yeah.
As opposed to going and buying from pro shops, which I do a lot of that too. Don't get me wrong. So, but those are the main things I had to do, is just to get it set up, and to get, start branding what I wanted my brand to be.
Yeah. Do you think working for Dynamic Discs at the time helped you either understand that or get into the door for the wholesale stuff, or understand it better?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Because I did work at the wholesale and in sales, so I would have those people like me calling to get wholesale accounts, and so setting people up with those, and that. So I knew I needed to go that route. That was helpful. But is it necessary to, know the ins and outs of the wholesale? No, not really. I think, you can, just knowing that's something that you should attempt to do, because you don't want to pay full price for discs and sell them. You can, but your profit margin is going to be low.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome that you set up your website. That's very professional of you,
thanks.
Which I think helps to, show that you're professional. So you're not just some, I don't want to make it sound bad, some scum in the back parking lot with a trunk full of discs.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
I wanted it to be legit.
yeah. Hey, it's Future Dave here, and if you're tuning in, you're probably serious about taking your disc dyeing hobby to the next level. Well, I got something just for you, the Disc Dyers Business Builder. It is your all-in-one solution to kickstart or level up your business. With your own dedicated website to sell your creations, a streamlined commission management system, tools for vending at events with real-time inventory management, a full suite of print and digital marketing templates, and a personal business consultation with experts with over 17 years of experience. This is everything you need to succeed. Are you ready to make it happen? Sign up now to stay in the loop and start building your dream business. Head over to dyersguild.co/businessbuilder and let's get started. How did you decide on your business name?
Well, Dr. Kristy Disc Dyes is a mouthful. So I somewhat regret that looking back. People were like, just name it Dr. Kristy Disc Dyes. Most people think, oh, she's probably just think she's a doctor of discs, whatever. But I am a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of audiology. And similar to like what a dentist is a doctor, your optometrist is a doctor, your audiology, that's me. So I was ears and hearing and balance. And so that's where the name stemmed from, was Dr. Kristy, and I'm dyeing discs. So, and then I've come to terms with it. Now I'm kind of like the word DR in front of the business name. People are like, a doctor dyeing discs. Like, what the hell? So, it stuck, and there was nothing I could do about it. But I then created, pretty early on, Die Happy as my logo, or not logo so much as it was my statement. My, what do you call that? See, I don't know anything about business, but it's Die Happy.
Slogan.
And yeah, slogan. That's a good word for it. That's it. So the slogan, I made that, and then I bought other websites. So I have drkristydiscdyes.com. I've got drkristydyes, I think, .com. I got drdyes.com. I bought those ones that, because I knew I might want to change it later. Diehappy.com, they wanted a lot of money for. So I said, no, thank you. I'll just do diehappy.us, and got that one for $14. So that's I worked around what needed to be done, but the name itself is it's factual. I am a doctor, but it's also, people are like, but it's eye-catching, I guess, too. So there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I know. It seems like you kind of regret it, but do you think your name is helpful or not helpful on the business side of things?
I think actually now I'm also the cup is half full person, so I'm going to silver line anything. But I think now it actually is helpful because it's easier for name recognition.
Yeah.
And that's big for wanting to run a business in disc golf. You got to have that name recognition.
Yeah. I mean, standing out amongst the sea of other dyers, I feel like is pretty important.
It's important, and it's difficult.
Yes.
You have to grind. You have to work for it. So yeah, it's tough.
So what kind of initial investment have you done with your disc dyeing business, like time, money, resources to get started? Or was it, did you do everything all at once, or was it kind of a slow progression?
It was a slow trickle.
Yeah.
It was a trickle. So I would, so I ended up leaving Dynamic Discs. As I was doing the side business, of disc dyes in the evenings and the website, I'd only have very few dyes. I wasn't, slamming them out like I am now, but I ended up finding an audiology job opened up in Emporia. So I went and jumped back into that corporate world of working as an audiologist in a clinic, and continued to do the disc dyeing on the side. So the time was difficult. So when, my initial time was just still evenings and weekends. My poor father, he's 80. He had to do a lot of packing and shipping, and it was a lot. So at one point, I said, I'm doing it. So there was truly a jumping point when it was a trickle, and then I said, I hate corporate USA, America. I love USA. Don't get me wrong, but I could not continue to prescribe and sell hearing aids to elderly folks who couldn't afford them. Morally, I just had issues. So I said, I love disc dyeing. I love the community of the disc golf world. Let's, pardon my French, let's fucking do this. So I quit my job.
Wow.
And I decided to go, full in, balls deep, let's go. So then I did do that switch.
Yeah.
So initial investment, I didn't have a whole lot of money to invest. I quit my job and I was, had small money trickling in from selling discs, but wasn't making money. Everything I would make, I put right back into the business. Because I needed inventory. So I just kept building up inventory, and the initial investment of all of that takes some time. You've got to try to brand out and expand, and that is just a time thing. And so that part can get frustrating. I was frustrated that things weren't moving as fast as I wanted, but it's time consuming, and investment.
So when did you go full time? Like what was the year or date on that?
That was in 23. Let me think. So audiology, and then that was I stopped working there in May of this is 24, so 23. Has it only been? Yeah, it's been a year. I quit about just over a year ago.
Crazy.
So 23. Yeah. My time frames. It's been busy. So I quit that and then started dyeing a lot of discs and just building up the website. And that's, So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I did.
So how many hours per week do you typically spend on your disc dyeing business currently and also in the past?
In the past, it was probably, 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours a day, maybe. And then I would go fishing or go do stuff because it was really nice to not have a corporate 9 to 5. I was like, I can work whatever hours I want. I can work at midnight. I can, sleep in. So I had a little bit of a, recovery time from working, or rebellion time almost, just wanting to do whatever the heck I wanted to do. But that was then. And it was growing, and it did grow. And now I figured it up because I knew that you would probably be asking that question. This last week I worked 78 hours. And I'm averaging around there, probably 75 hours a week. I'm 12 to 15 hours a day working. Dyeing discs, it's probably 4 of those days a week, and the other 3 are admin or inventory or computer work. And that's every day though too. But some days I have to take the whole day and not dye discs and just do business stuff.
Yeah.
So that I don't like that part.
I was going to say, that's one thing I want to stress.
I just want to do art.
Yeah. That's one thing I want to stress to people is running a disc dyeing business isn't just dyeing discs. Like half or 75% is the business side of things to keep it running. So
that is a very important statement, and all potential business disc dyers need to know that. There's going to be things you like to do, dyeing discs. There's going to be things you absolutely hate to do. Social media, I hate. Doing it, I like the people, but I hate doing it. You got to balance your, money. You have to figure out inventory. You got to figure out when you're needing to buy more dyes and supplies. And there's a lot more to think about than just dyeing discs and shoving them on a website.
Yeah.
So, lot more.
So how do you have that work-life balance now that you're self-employed if there is any work-life balance?
It's a struggle. I'm going to be honest. So as I've gotten more and more into my business, I've had a lot of more friends kind of go like, okay, well, Kristy's not going to come join us this round or disc golf or this to go do this, so I've sacrificed a lot of me time. The other side of that, though, is, as I mentioned from the get-go, the beginning, it's also therapeutic for me to do the dyeing part. So I do find I get my peace from that. But I've come to the point where I'm busy enough and have enough to do that I have to force myself to say, get out of your house, leave the house, go fishing, go nature. Nature is my spirit, right? So I need my nature energy, and I've been having to force myself to go do that at least a half a day. So it's I'm in my basement and my my dye lab a lot. I'm on my computer a lot, so it's hard to balance, and it's an ongoing struggle. Yeah, but it always will be, I'm sure.
So you said you started disc dyeing because you enjoyed it and gave you peace. How have you kept that while doing the business? Because I know when you do a business of your hobby, that hobby can turn into a job. Then you can hate your hobby.
Yeah. I have not. Okay, I do know the answer to this. I dye discs that I want to dye when I want to dye them. And I enjoy that time. I love being able to just do pre-dyes, like, is what I'm calling them. Put them on my website, and it's just what I wanted to do that day. Now, the custom orders that come in or commissions, that becomes more business-like. So you've got to, when I'm doing those, I'm in business mode, and they want a certain thing, want a certain way. And I enjoy doing that, but that's not my therapeutic time. My therapeutic time is after those orders are done. I go and I experiment, or I'll go say, oh my God, that would look sick. I'll think of something and then go do it. And I love those. That's my favorite thing to do. If I had it my way, I would just dye discs that I want to dye all day, put it on the website, and run it that way. But it's not reality either, because there's commissions and customs, and it's part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, a way to keep that passion is to do personal projects that you like to do, so you don't get burnt out with stuff that you don't like to do. And promoting stuff that you like to do to get more of that same work, because I feel like if you do something, for whatever reason, you do like a commission of a sports ball logo and you don't like doing that, and you post it, you're probably going to get more of those things.
Right.
So posting stuff that you like to do to get more of that same thing.
I'm guilty of that, but because you're so proud of the work that you did, I'm like, this is the coolest Cowboys disc ever. Got to show it off, but then it's like, oh hell, now I got to do a 49ers. Now I got to do a Seahawks. Now I got to, or whatever the case is,
So if you could give a ratio, like what is your ratio of commission dyes versus pre-dyed dyes?
Probably 70% of my is just me dyeing, and 30% is going to be the custom work done. For the most part, I mean, that's rough averages.
Do you like doing commissions, or is that just a necessary evil?
So it is a necessary evil, but I also enjoy it, and I do, because I love when someone is happy. Like when I get a message from my customer saying, "Oh my God, you nailed it," or because rarely do you get the people who say, "You suck." Why? So you get that feedback it just feels good, and making people happy and knowing how excited they're going to be to have that disc, that drives it. I mean, I love doing it for that. So yeah, I mean, I love it when a good custom comes out well. Like when I, do it just like I pictured it. That's a great feeling, or how the customer pictured it, That's awesome. I love that. So there's good pros and cons, really. Again, banes and boons.
So this is a large, encompassing question that might have multiple answers, but can you walk
Bring
us
it.
through your typical workflow from receiving an order to sending it out and shipping it?
Yes. Yes, I can. Commission-wise or custom-wise, or do you mean just like from a website?
We'll go with commission-wise first.
Okay, so that's and you're going to hear me say this a lot. This is an ongoing process. I'm trying to get it to where it is more streamlined. I do have, on my website, there's a way you can order a custom, create your own dye, right? So there's styles to choose from there, and then they select from my white disc selection that's up on the website, and they select their style, and then in notes they put what they want. But it's not user friendly. It needs to be, revamped. And I've got a website developer that I'm going to be working with that's going to be doing that. And so that is an ongoing project. But as of now, I have, let me see if I have one over here. Yep. I have like these that my friend Jamie created, which she's fabulous. And I just have it's for custom orders, and I just have that for their name. Are they shipping me discs? Are they a create your own dye? Did I receive the discs? Have they paid? Invoice sent, etc. Then the list of the discs, where I met them, like how they contacted me. So like whether it's through Shopify, which is the platform I use, through Facebook, through Instagram, through I have a chat now button on my website through that. So there's like 5-10 different places where these will come from, and I'm trying to get it to where I have a link that I can just say, boom, here, hit this, and then that's where you go. That's what I'm working toward. Mm-hmm. So I get, right now, wish I could walk down to my dye lab with this, but it's dirty. Whose isn't?
Yeah.
So I get the order. I have a bulletin board across the wall, and I put the orders in order, and I pull one down, and whichever one's next, and I start it, create it, usually that day, finish it, and then if it's a stencil, sometimes not, and then pack it and ship it out the next day. That being said, those orders are backed up. I mean, they're not like you order it that day and I get it done that day, because it's become bigger than that. So that's the process of commission. As for my website dyes, somebody places an order, I hear my beautiful, I love it. It's like Pavlov's bell. My mouth starts watering. My Shopify, cha-ching, right? Sale, and like my friends have even come to know what it is, and they're like, yeah, we're all disc golfing, and everybody yells, yeah. I love that sound.
Nice. So
then those I print out. I have a shipping label printer now. And I say now, it was like 2 years ago. And I print off a packing slip, and I write a little note on it to that person. And I always give swag with my orders. Like, so I give a little mini or a koozie or stickers or whatever. Pack it up with love and then ship it out.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's my process.
How, for the commission side of things, like what questions do you ask the customer when they're requesting their commission?
With some customers, you don't have to ask one question. Mm-hmm. You've got I've got some people who will give me more detail than I ever wanted. And those, it's great because then you have all the direction you need, but it's also a lot of pressure because they want it a certain exact way. Mm-hmm. Whereas some other ones, they're insanely vague, and I will have to reach out and be, so some of the questions I need to know is like, what style? Mm-hmm. Because I do a variety of styles. And if it's a style I don't do, no problem. So get me a picture, show me something that is similar to what you're looking for. Let me see if I can recreate it. And I will, if I've not done one like that before, I'm up for the challenge. I will use one of my discs and then, if I jack it up, I put it in my jacked up bin and sell it for cheap. But I will tackle any challenge. So I ask them to send me pictures or details, what colors, and I really work a lot hand in hand, like with the customer. We talk often and make sure that I'm doing it the way they want it to be done.
Yeah.
I think communication is everything when it comes to that.
Yeah. Setting expectations all around is very helpful.
Yes.
Do you send them like any proofs of like, here's kind of a mock-up of the design? Do you like it?
No. Because unless it's a stencil. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a stencil, that's different. And I'm going to be honest, I tend to stay away from stencils. They're so time consuming.
Yeah.
I love how they come out and they're fun, but there's time consumption. And if you're getting paid by the time you're spending on something, most disc dyers know this. Those stencil dies, those could be like $100 or $200 discs if you consider the time. Mm-hmm. So that's why I stay away from those. But when it comes to the other ones, I will throughout. I'll be like, your disc's almost ready, and then I give them an option. Do you want to see it before it ships? Some people don't. Some people say no. I want to be surprised. Some people say yeah, and then at that point, some people say yeah, and I tell them, if you don't like it, it's okay. I can do it again. This one will sell on the website, no problem. But I'd be happy to do another one for you if you don't like it. And that's happened. And that's happened a couple times.
Do you take payment up front or after the dye has been done?
After the dye's been done. Because there's been a couple times where I haven't been able to get to it when I say I can, and I don't feel like that's right. So I will, when I start working on their disc, or when they're like on deck, right? Or in the warm-up circle, basically, I will send them a notification saying, you're coming up close, it's getting close, any changes you want to make. Then at that point, I will do it. And what was your question on that?
I forgot.
I know, I just ramble, so we're I'm a rambler.
That's fine. Have you ever said no to commission work? Like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yes. No. Let me take that back. Because I will say, I have said, no, I'm not taking any custom orders right now, but check back with me in the fall. Mm-hmm. Or right now I say my go-to is, I can put you on the list, but it's looking like September or October. And if you want somebody else to do it, I totally get it. But if you want to be on the list, I can let you know when you're up to bat. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I have, a list, and it's large. So right now.
Do you set a limit on like the amount of commissions that you can do or want to do?
Not yet. But I will be. I'm going to have to. And I think it's going to be a lot better, though, once I get it more streamlined. You know, that I do want to stress that, you know, when it comes to a disc dyeing business, organization is everything. As you grow, it becomes chaotic. And you don't want to lose orders. You don't want to lose customers. You don't want to lose, your flow. So it's important to stay organized, and I am not. I am a damn scatter. And so I've really had to buckle down and learn to start to be more organized, and it's tough for me. So
how do you currently keep things organized and keeping track of everybody and everything?
My friend Jamie came down. I mentioned her. She made the ticket things. Mm-hmm. She's organized. This girl's organized. So she and I have spent some very quality time together. She came and stayed with me for a bit, and we got things a little bit more organized. So, I've got my books for each manufacturer, like a notebook that I keep all my invoices in, and all my purchase orders, and that's the business, the white disc side. I also have, like I said, the bulletin board now where I put all the orders on together. Everything's set. I plan my weeks out now. I know that I have admin days coming up where I'm going to have to reply to customers, where I'm going to have to, so it took a friend to help me to get there, but it does take a village. When you're disc dyeing, you got to bounce things off of people. You got to learn things from others.
Mm-hmm.
It's a community. You've got to you have to have help. You can't just you know what I mean?
It's very helpful to have help. And also having another community of other dyers as a sounding board to bounce ideas off.
100%.
So that really helps.
Wow.
And
I spent a lot of time on that Facebook group that what was it, like Disc Dyers or something, and would see what people were doing and put mine out there and get feedback, and that was really helpful, especially in the beginning. But then you run out of time to do that.
The other question I was going to ask that you kind of answered is, do you plan out your week like, okay, this is going to be my dyeing day, this is going to be my admin day, this is going to be my shipping day?
Mm-hmm. Just started doing that.
Yeah.
I ship every day though. So I have routines that I do every day. So my morning routine is I get my coffee and I take pictures in my photo booth of the dyes that I might have dyed the day before, right? Or the last 2 days. Get pictures taken, load them on the website, respond to emails, do all that. That's my morning ritual. And then I go down into the dye lab and I have all my orders that have come in for the day, and I get those packed up and ready to ship out. And those then I get to the post office before the end of the day, or my dad does. So I have certain things every day that are done. But I do have now started setting certain days for dyeing and certain days for admin, and it varies weekly. It's not set by because it just depends on what all needs done.
Mm-hmm. Business.
Business.
What techniques have you found to be the most popular or profitable for you?
Okay, well, you mean style wise, like which? Yeah. Here's my discs that I have not listed this morning, but the main. Oh, people love cell dyes. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a go-to. That one's always popular. Flowers like that are often good sellers. Lollipops. People like a lolly. Glow lolly. Weird abstract things people dig. Like the weirder you get sometimes, the better it is. Mm-hmm. So that style's fun. Still a lot of flowers. I can't. People really like those a lot. Oh my god, that smell.
Yeah, the lotion smell. How long does it for a bed like that? How long does it take you to do a dye?
To create the bed?
Like from start to finish, from creating the bed to setting the disc. I should say active time.
Active time. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Per disc?
Maybe.
For a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that letting it sit and cure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But what is your active time of you interacting with the disc without letting it sit?
15 minutes.
Okay.
On that style.
Gotcha.
Other styles may take a little longer. Some of those spin dyes that are real fine detail spins, those are going to take a little more time. But then they don't have to cook in the oven. So there's, but yeah, so I could, do make my bed 15 minutes or so, make the flower design, disc in the oven it goes. Get the next one. So I can, then I'll fill the oven up and then move on to something else. Mm-hmm. And then, then there's the washing, and then I stamp my logo on the back, and then there's packaging it, putting it in the, seals. And so, you just that, it It depends on the style,
Yeah.
They all take different amounts of time.
Yeah.
But nothing except sun stools that take more than, 30 minutes for me to create.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely
would
take in
say.
consideration the entire process of everything. Like you said, you have to let it sit. You have to do cleaning, all the other I can't say the word, extra stuff, and the packing, and yeah.
Yeah. Making your dyes. I mean, like that's time consumption.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs that I would wish that I could just give out to people. Say, wash this stack of discs that's like, or whatever.
You need a disc dyeing intern.
Guess what I have now? A disc dyeing guy. And I hired a high schooler, and he comes over part-time this summer, and he, poor guy, I make him do all the dirty stuff. He's washing bottles. He's that I use. He's scrubbing discs. He's breaking down boxes, and that stuff takes time out of your time to dye discs. If I could be in the 19th hole, that's what Albert Tom calls my dye lab. If I could be in the 19th hole all the time and dyeing discs, my gross profits would be doubled easily. So the other stuff of the business is it's got to be considered because it's so much time consumption.
Yeah, and your time is valuable. And that's at a point, the time is more valuable than money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man.
How did you come up with the pricing for your discs? And do you have here's my minimum price to even do anything?
Well, I'm not going to lose money on a disc. So I will not go below that number for sure, whatever I paid for it. But that being said, I do have dyes that eventually I put on sale and discount if they don't sell right away, right? So there's discount dyes, so that's separate. But I consider the cost of the disc. Number one, did I have to buy it from a pro shop or did I buy it wholesale? That's number one. Number two is that the cost of materials, like glue is more expensive than shaving cream. So like if I did a shaving cream dye, which I don't do many of, it will be slightly cheaper than if Floetrol, expensive, cell dyes, those are going to be on my upper end. So I take there's a lot of factors considered. So the price I paid for the disc, time spent, big one, and materials used. So that's what I mostly look at.
What price difference is there from pre-dyed discs to say a custom commission? Say it's the same style. Is there any price difference or no?
So currently through the website, I believe if they were to create their own custom dye, it equals out being maybe $5 more probably than an actual one. I'm not really actually okay with that. It needs to be more than that because because the commissions do take time because and more so than the other ones because for example, if they want, I had a guy who wanted this pink and blue yin yang, no problem. But I had my pink that I wanted to do it with had run out, so I had to spend the time to mix that. There's just things that go into commission ones and custom ones that you have to consider.
Yeah.
So I think that what I'm going to end up doing is having it be where there's a handling fee or a fee of some sort, and for a commission, but then keep the price low in the generalized, but then put that actual time spent buffer, I guess you'd call it, on there.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Because with commissions, you do have to have that communication back and forth, and there is that extra time added to that disc, like the handling fee, you could call it, I guess. So yeah, definitely take that in consideration.
Absolutely. And really, so I was initially when I started dyeing these commission discs, I was afraid to say, that one's gonna cost like $50, bro. I was scared to say it to them, and say, because I don't want them. They're gonna be like, no, or whatever. Rarely do they.
Yeah.
Rarely do they, and because most people understand that it costs money to do this. Now, some people won't understand that, and that's okay. That's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, and my experience working in the creative field, the people that are willing to pay a higher price are much easier to work with versus people that are trying to nickel and dime you because they want everything for nothing.
Cheers.
So I'm curious on, again, your pricing philosophy. And in general, I think disc dyers price their dye discs way too low because...
Absolutely.
Yes, people do throw them and they're actively used and they do fade over time, but it is still art. And I'm curious, are you more of a mass producing thing where you try to mass produce it but keep it at an affordable cost, or are you more of a bespoke thing that you're going to do a custom one-off thing but you charge a higher price for?
So the second. I'm not a mass producer, and I don't want to be. I don't want to cookie cut things. I don't want to be just not me. I consider my business more of a boutique business because it's going to be unique. It's going to be original. It's going to be everyone I do. I'm doing little different, and with thought and I'm not just going to slap dye on a disc and put my name on it. I'm not going to do that. I know businesses that do, and that's great because that's a totally different business profile. There's, they want to produce to the 80% out there that can, want a cheaper dye that they can just throw. Whereas the 20%, they more appreciate the art on that disc and the time that went into it, and it just, people, do you see what I'm saying? It's more of that, and that's not good or bad, this style of business. It's just completely different business profile. For mass producing, you've got to be, I don't even want to think about it because I can't do that. I mean, it's factory-like. And then whereas what I'm doing is it's going to be calmer. I'm going to be more peaceful, and I'm going to just enjoy the process, I think, a lot more.
Right
for
on.
me.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
each person is different, and there's different ways to skin the cat and different business models. So yeah.
Yes.
But now I'm curious of how you market yourself. So the question I have is, how did you initially market your disc dyeing business and attract your first customers?
Social media.
Yeah.
Necessary evil, in my opinion. It's not that social media is evil. I just feel like the practice of posting my art and promoting myself, I don't enjoy that part of it. I don't like to be like, look at me. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I like to be the center of attention, for sure. But I don't want to pimp myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, I'm so awesome. It's just not. I hate that part of it. But that's exactly what has to be done. You've got to get your products seen, your name seen, and so I selected several different platforms to use. So Facebook being one, Instagram one, TikTok was one, Reddit was one. Now I over time have developed into just doing most of my stuff on two, which would be the Instagram and Facebook. Because I found that it's too much, first of all, to post on all of the places. I don't want to post on one, let alone four. It's too much time spent, and you want to build up followers on those specific platforms that you have. And I think that the more you disperse that, the less, time you can give focus to, getting those followers. And so I picked two Sometimes I'm on TikTok too. So 3 really that I really work with and really put the time and effort into.
So how do you differentiate yourself from other disc dyeing businesses?
I don't know the answer to that question. That's a great question, because I don't know the ins and outs of how they run theirs. I'm not sure I could answer that. I feel different. I mean, I think what makes me a little unique is that I do so many different styles. Who said it? It was one of the girls that is in the guild that they said it best. It's ADD dyer. I'm an ADD dyer. And it's true. So I'm all over the place, and I just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how other people do theirs, and that's okay. This is working for me.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of the same question, but like, how do you stand out from the noise? And is there any other tips that you give people to help stand out from the noise?
Unique creativity, experiment. Get other stuff out there. I don't think we have even chipped away at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the disc golf dyeing potential for that type of our community. It's growing insanely, as you know. Mm-hmm. The sport itself is growing insanely, as you know. So to stand out, I think I think creativity is key. I really do. I think that we need to see new styles. I think people need to experiment and try stuff, and you got to be out there, and you got to put yourself out there. Yeah. You've got to get that name recognition. It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
And you, like you said, you can feel icky pimping yourself out, but it isn't necessarily evil. As long as you're authentic and yourself, you'll attract like-minded people, and that's the people that you want to work with. Sometimes you can feel like a car salesman, but like I said, if you're authentic in yourself, you want to build that personal brand, because like I mentioned this before, people don't necessarily buy the art. They buy the person behind the art and their story and their
philosophies. Yeah. I see that. I can believe that.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way. Excuse me. But that's actually very accurate. Because I've developed relationships with all my customers. They're not customers. I hate that word. They're family. If you buy a disc from me, or we communicate, I immediately think of you. Until you aren't nice to me, then we're friends. I don't. Communication and customer care is everything. Everything. Family care, not customer.
Yeah.
So.
I always keep recommending artists to put your face out there along with your art, so people can actually see the artist behind the art. So there's actually a real person doing this.
Yeah. And I just started doing that. And I think that's great advice. I really do.
And it can be very, very difficult to be in front of a camera, but like everything, practice makes perfect. I used to be horrible in front of the camera. Now I'm okay. But practice makes perfect.
I think you're great. You're doing great.
So, stick your face out there.
Yeah, I agree. So, you've got to have your face out there, your name out there, and so, because if nobody's heard of let's say, I don't know if this is an actual disc name, Duty Discs. I just pulled it out of my
it is now.
Right? Pulled it out of my ass. Yeah. Trademark. Duty Dyes. No one, if you haven't heard of Duty Dyes, you're not going to necessarily, I don't know, like, you've got to figure out a way to get, and that way is social media, unfortunately, and et cetera, and vending and things like that, but get that name out there. Like you said, get your face out there, because you've just got to grind it until it's like almost like beating a dead horse. Or else people won't. If they see your name over and over again, they're going to remember that name.
Yeah.
Duty Dye, Duty Dye, Duty Dye, Duty Dye.
I should get some Duty Dyes.
All of a sudden, I want a Duty Dye. It's crazy. So, I think that's important. You just got to really, really grind it out.
Yeah.
To the public.
So, in your disc dyeing business career, what has been some of the challenges or the biggest challenges you faced so far?
A challenge that I wasn't prepared for. I didn't realize, I guess, is the cyclic nature of the business. Like, it's not always booming. We go through winter time sometimes, or certain periods, and sales are down, and there may not be an explanation for it, but it happens in this business. I feel like it comes in waves. So finding ways to stay busy during those slower times can be beneficial, like running specials or doing mystery boxes or something, which I haven't had time to do yet, but I will. So I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know that it was going to be. So you have to manage your finances and your inventory and everything appropriately on that note, because there will be slow periods. Mm-hmm. But conveniently now, as I've grown, those custom orders that are backed up can get me through the winter, as I do that. Mm-hmm. And, prepping for the next season through the winter.
Right. So since you started disc dyeing in the disc dyeing business, how has the disc dyeing changed over the years since you started, and is there any other trends that you see emerging from the disc dyeing industry?
Well, to answer the first part of that, I just noticed the growth. There's so many disc dyers out there, mm-hmm. and I love it. I love that. I mean, people doing their art and putting their creations, into something is just always a beautiful thing. And so that is something that is cool that I've noticed that change. It's unbelievably growing. And I hope that along with that, the popularity of people wanting dyed discs in their bag goes along with it. And that's where, that's a whole nother conversation for some other day. But, the other trend, like a trend that I've noticed that, I definitely jumped on it, is that some disc dyers are sponsoring players. And that's been a lot of fun. I'm going to be honest. I started doing that, and it has grown the business, admittedly. Because I've got guys in Montana. I got a guy in Montana that's fabulous, and he has. I have a street team, and that they are part of Team Die Happy, and they get. They have a discount code that they can give out to anybody to use, and if they use that code, then I've got. I give them. They can earn things, swag, discs, whatever. It's an easy way to put yourself out there, mm-hmm. and to hype your business, have other people hyping your business. Yeah. But I've seen other people doing it too. But then having the pros, MPO, FPOs, throw your discs is always an awesome thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's cool. And I've enjoyed that trend. I've got a lot of pros that are on Team Die Happy now that it's so much fun. I just love it. I do. I love that part of it. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
What advice?
And I've seen a lot of other companies disc dyers doing that, and it's cool. I like it. Mm-hmm. I think it's great. Shows that we have some importance in this field. People like us. So
how do you even get started to be in a pro's bag?
Oh boy. There's nothing wrong with giving a pro one of your dyes, even if they're sponsored. My sponsored pros receive discs from disc dyers often, and that's great, and that's one way to do it. Then you don't want to jump into that all willy-nilly though either. If you want to sponsor a pro, you've got to build your business first, is my recommendation, because you got to be organized on that. You don't have to be, but I think it would be best for your business. So to get them, talk to them. They're humans. They're people. Some of them love dyes. Some of them are like, man, what's the worst thing that happens? They say no. Mm-hmm. So I was terrified when I asked my first pro, but I did it and they said yes. So you just got to dive in. Don't be afraid. This is such a cool community and as we all know. So, it's build your business up. Make sure you're good at dyeing discs.
Yeah. Don't suck.
Don't suck at what you do. And then talk to them, reach out. They typically will get back to you. So, I've had some that don't. And, but now I've developed, relationships with these pros and they're fabulous. They're just like us. I mean, we know that. We all know that.
When you're getting ready to event an event, does it always feel like you're forgetting something, right? Trust me, I've been there too many times, and there is nothing worse than setting up your booth and realizing you left a critical piece of gear at home. That's why I put together a super handy dandy checklist just for you. It's got everything you need to remember, from booth essentials to those little things that can make or break your day. And the best part, it's completely free. Just head over to dyersguild.co/event checklist right now and download the free PDF checklist. With this in hand, you'll be fully prepared and ready to rock your next vending event. Again, that's dyersguild.co/event checklist. So, go check it out and take the stress out of vending. What advice would you give someone looking to start their own disc dyeing business?
One, perfect your art. Like really, really critique your own work and focus on getting good. Really, really, you want to have a good product. You don't want to be, you want to have a good product. That's first. Second of all, if you're going to do it, you got to take it seriously. I cannot emphasize enough the grind that you would have to put into it to make it a successful financial business. I am just now getting to where I'm actually financially making a profit, where I'm not putting it all right back into the company. And again, I've been in this for 2.5 years. I mean, the business for 2.5 years. So, they say businesses don't start making money till the third year. Well, I believe that because it's work. So be prepared to put in the grind, the dedication, and understand that it's gonna take some time. So I think a lot of people give up over at a certain point.
Yeah.
And I think that is if you can push through that and really focus and get organized and get name recognition, I think you'll do well.
Yeah, it's the grind, and consistency is king. Just keep doing it. Get your name out there. Eventually something will happen.
Right. Exactly.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with potential disc dyers that are looking to get into business? Like any other tips or tricks, or maybe, hey, don't do this?
Now, like I have already said it, but I want to reiterate it, and that is creativity. Don't just do everything that everybody else has done. Don't just, that's a good place to start. Go watch YouTube videos, learn, go watch Dyers Guild videos, learn and learn different processes. Then expand. So I used to go watch one video, be like, okay, all right, see how they did it. Now I'm going to go do it my way, right? So, and I'm going to change it and morph it. And now, what if I do this? You got to experiment. There's so many, art is so subjective, to get out and do different styles, do different, whatever looks good to your eye. Don't hesitate to put it out there. Mm-hmm. Some things I just been like, whoa, that's cool, but that won't sell. Why wouldn't it? Try it. And then they do. So, except the pizzas, man. I don't understand why watermelons went so well, but pizzas didn't go well. I don't get it, but whatever. I'm a pizza girl. But I think that you need, I'm going to reiterate that the experiment, make art, create, and have fun.
Well, Dr. Kristy, I've learned a lot, and I hope, audience, you've learned something as well, to give you some insights on the disc dyeing business side of things, to see maybe if this interests you, to give you some tips and tricks. And it's not meant to scare you out of it, which it can be very intimidating, but it's not. Just, again, practice and doing it. And that's what this whole video series is about. So, Kristy, where can people find you?
www.diehappy.us, stupid.com, diehappy.us, and on, of course, social media platforms. On Instagram, it's Dr. Kristy Disc Dyes, and on Facebook as well, Dr. Kristy Disc Dyes, TikTok. So I post all my stuff on there that I've been posting on the website, and typically with easy links to get to my website, where you can purchase. And I also want to say, reach out to me if you have questions. I want to answer. I tell everybody what I do. I'm an open book. I'm not going to hide my styles, how I do things. I'll tell you. I just don't have time. I haven't had time to make videos. This is the thing. But I'm always helpful. I'm going to, there's a lot of guys out there that will vouch for that, and gals. So reach out if you have questions, even on specifically on the business side, too.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to share, what else I've learned. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to go. I am a baby in the business in my mind, and trying to improve it every day. And I am making a go of this. Like I said, quit that audiology job. I'm making a go of it, and I'm going to make it work. So one way or another. So we should do another interview in another year and see what's changed,
Yeah. No, I would love to do that, to see where you're at. You might be in a tent under a bridge, or you might be in a castle. Who knows?
You don't know. You don't know. My guess is going to be in this same house having a good old time dyeing frisbees. That's my guess. Dyeing discs, excuse me. I don't want to offend people.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, you can shoot her a message, or you can shoot the Dyers Guild messages. But
absolutely, the Dyers Guild is a good resource, everyone. Big time.
Thanks for the plug. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.